friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm really happy that everyone liked the last video, and I'm here to give you another story time about my concert adventures, because I've had many concert adventures, and I feel like this is a good video to mention some of them because those are some of my best stories that I have. So the first story actually I'm going to tell you is about the time I took acid at the 1975 concert and it ruined my entire life. So about 2 years ago, I have to take it still somewhere. Do I have to take it to somewhere? Fuck. Anyways, so I was home in 1975 about 2 years ago at Echo Beach, and I was in the phase of doing a lot of acid and, you know, just doing bad, and that was my thing at the time because I thought I was a spiritual, you know, I don't know, I was trying to find myself. I was feeling very spiritual, so I decided to do a lot of acid this time. So back in, it was definitely September, yeah, it was definitely in September. My stepsister actually ended up telling me that she had a plan to get us a plane ride there because someone in her family had a connection with like the local airport. So we ended up actually flying there. So we ended up going onto the airplane and stuff, and of course me, being me, brings a bottle of wine with me, and I had a bottle of wine on the airplane, and it literally, like, the airplane ride was literally like I couldn't even finish a full song that I was playing because it was that short, and we were dropped right in Toronto. But in that time I made sure to have a few splashes, and I had a few sips of wine, and it was good. And like I also didn't really realize that when you're elevated like really high in the air, you get a lot more intoxicated a lot more fast. In those like 3-4 minutes, like the sister drank a lot, like I did a lot, and I ended up eventually getting off the airplane, and we went to the venue. And I also realized at this time that I had a tab of acid in my wallet because I went to go pull out my money to get food, and I found a tab of acid. So I'm like, oh well, this just works out perfectly. Like they have a giant tool with a tab of acid here. Like I forgot I even had this. We had to go into the venue, and we're sitting there, and I'm still drinking wine. I'm still finishing the rest of the bottle, and I'm just getting annihilated. And my plan was to just drink before and then drop acid after. And if you've dropped acid, you know that you're not supposed to, you know, mix it with other things. You just enjoy the acid high, and that's all it's supposed to be. So me goes into this venue, and we eventually get in. It's general admission, and you know general admission shows are nuts. Like that's the thing, and especially at Echo Beach where it's all sand. Like it's, for those of you who don't know Echo Beach is right beside Molson Amphitheater. No, sorry, Budweiser stage, but I'm never gonna call it Budweiser stage because it's always gonna be the Molson Amphitheater to me. Right beside there is another venue they have, and it's like a big stage. It's like it's open, and there's a sand pit area, and it's just all general admission. And we finally get let in. Everyone's running. We finally get our spot, and we're like in like the front middle. Like we get very close. Like we had good seats, and good seats. We were standing the entire time. Like the first band came on, so I'm like, I'm just gonna take this acid now. When it hits, 975 will be on. It'll be good vibes, and it'll be a great time. And I was so excited for it. We ended up sitting there. Why do I keep saying sitting there? We're standing. We're literally standing the entire time. There's no sitting. We're standing there, and like I'm enjoying the acid. I'm feeling it, and like it's good. And then I light up a joint, and it's good. And then all of a sudden, like halfway through the second band set, they start doing a lot of, you know, lights and strobe lights and all these things. And normally at concerts, when there's a lot of strobe lights and like really bright colors like that, like they give you a paper when you walk in that says something like, this show will contain lights, may cause seizures, epilepsy, like, be warned. And there was none of that there. There was none of that there. And the second band's playing, and the strobe lights are happening. So I'm sitting there, like, I'm starting to feel a bit wavy. I'm looking around, and I'm just like, wow, it's a beautiful night. The sun was setting. All of a sudden, I feel tapping my shoulder. My stepsister's just like, Niyah. And I'm like, what? So she goes, look there. There was a group of girls. There was like 4 girls, and they're all looking around like this. And the one was more wide-eyed than the other ones. And she's just like straight looking like she's cracked out on something, just like freaking out. And I'm like, oh, okay girl, like yeah, enjoy your drugs, like have a good night girl. And next thing you know, this bitch drops to the ground. She is on the floor. She is seizing. There's not even a floor. Why do I keep making up things about the story? It was literally sand. This girl was flopping around in the sand having a seizure. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, at that second, it started to kick in for me, and I'm like, oh my god, she's having a seizure. We're in the very middle, so everyone's surrounding us. Like how do ambulances, how do we get someone's attention? So then all of a sudden people start screaming, help, help, help. Next thing you know, 2 girls beside that girl drop to the ground and start seizing on the ground, and I'm sitting there and I'm like looking away. I can't do this, I can't do this, this is happening, this is actually happening. And like I feel like that set off my entire bad trip for that night. The band's still playing. So then I guess someone eventually got the band's attention. The band stopped and was like, hey, like they need help in the middle over there. And the band eventually got everyone to like part ways. And then security ended up rolling through, and it was terrifying because like imagine like just being there tripping on acid, just watching someone's seizure, and all of a sudden like the entire crowd just parts ways, and then ambulance rolls through. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? So at this point, I'm sitting there, my eyes are probably the size of like dollars, man. Like they were just like this. It was so bad. I guess there was like an intermission for like 10 minutes, but no, it was like a half-hour intermission, and everyone's just talking and like recuperating from what the fuck just happened. All of a sudden, all the lights go out, the sun set, and then 1975 starts. I guess people in the front let down the barriers, so then all of a sudden, it's dark outside, right? And I'm sitting there tripping on acid. All of a sudden, I look to the left, and I just see people just like an entire crowd just moving in a really fast motion. Kind of like, remember The Lion King when like, they're like, who was it hanging off the cliff? Mufasa hanging off the cliff, and then there was all the animals running below. That was literally what it looked like to me. Like it looked like all those animals below running The Lion King. Like it was terrifying. It was so terrifying. We all got pushed to the front and they started, and like if you know the 1975, you know they have very vivid colors and neon lights, and they're very, you know, like that aesthetic. And I don't know, like it was the worst trip of my life. I have had many trips, and it was by far the worst trip of my entire life. I couldn't even smoke anything because I was just sitting there shaking. I didn't even know how to smoke because I was just in such a bad trip state. The entire time I thought I was gonna die. There was no water because we were in the middle. I didn't plan ahead and get water. So I'm sitting there the entire time like freaking out. But it was enjoyable because like the 1975, when they played Robbers, and then my heart broke and I started crying, and then yeah, it was a very, they play a lot of emotional songs in their sets. So I'm sitting there like on acid dying, but then hearing all these emotional songs, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, they're playing my songs. And then it changed a heart, and then I died, and I don't know, at that moment, like, I just couldn't stop crying. And for the rest of the concert, I was crying. And then after the concert ended, I was still crying. But, like, I didn't know why I was crying. Like, I wasn't even, like after the concert, I wasn't even sad, and I was still crying. So I'm like, we're walking away from this, we were walking away after. And, like, the entire time, like, I literally thought, guys, that I was going to die. Like, I did not think I was going to survive that trip. I thought I was going to be one of those girls who seized before me. Like, I did not make it, I didn't think I was going to make it alive. I'm still bawling my eyes out because I'm just so shook at the fact that I just survived this like 4 or 5 hour crazy ass acid trip, and I can't stop crying, and it's like I wasn't even tearing up. I was just crying because like I was on acid and I was fucked up. And so we walk back in the car and we get in the door, and I'm still sitting there crying, and like her dad was there, and he was waiting in the front, and he was in the car driving, and he's like, why is he crying? And I'm just sitting there. And he's like, yeah, like, he just really loves Matty Healy, like, that's his favorite artist, and I'm like, I love him so much. Meanwhile, I'm just crying because like, I don't even know why I'm crying. I'm just fucked up crying and I can't stop myself. And yeah, and so that was that story. Okay, so my second story is actually about how I went to the Rez concert. Like, I went to the concert. I didn't actually get to see any of the concert, but like, I went to it. I was planning on seeing it.